This is my demo for the added functionality of timing out whenever we don't get GPS coordinates, just so that it doesn't stay hanging. So let me go ahead and upload my code to the sketch. Okay, that code is uploaded and it's done uploading. This trial is when both GPS and GSM coordinates are gotten. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, connected to the GSM network. It's attaching GPRS. Now it is trying to get the coordinates. The elapsed time is in milliseconds. So right here, while the elapsed time is less than 240,000 milliseconds, which is 4 minutes. Oh, and before that, I defined a start time, a finish time, and an elapsed time. Our start time immediately starts before triangulating, and we hold it before the while. So now if GSM key is 0, which is the first iteration, it will try to get the coordinates. And now the finish time after trying to get one coordinate is finish time, and our elapsed time is finish time minus start time. So elapsed time is what we use to compare in the while loop at the top. Now if the coordinates are 0, then it prints out that they're still 0, as they're doing here. And if the coordinates are not 0, then it prints out the coordinates that aren't 0. GSM key is now 1, so it enters the next phase, and the old coordinates, or the ones that are gotten, are assumed to be the new coordinates. But let's see how far it gets here. Here it's still at 85,000 milliseconds, so it's still got a little bit to go. If 4 minutes is 240,000 milliseconds. $109, $110. It's a little bit less than halfway there. Now, at the very end of the loop, if after the elapsed time it'll exit that loop, and if the coordinates are still 0, then we just print out we could not get coordinates, so we timed out. But hopefully we'll get coordinates in less than 4 minutes. If not, it'll just print this out. Still trying to get the GSM coordinates, or coordinates by triangulation. So after 4 minutes, it should exit this loop and begin the GPS coordinate. Getting the GPS coordinates. So now we're still waiting. Our GSM coordinates are still 0. Got about 30 seconds left. Ten more seconds. So now, since it's still 0, then they're going to print out we could not get coordinates, so we timed out GSM. Okay, so it says coordinates are still 0. We could not get coordinates, so we timed out. And immediately after, it says now getting your GPS coordinates, and it gets our coordinates. It gets our GPS coordinates immediately, which are those 33.23 and negative 97.10. And then after getting the GPS coordinates, then if GPS coordinates are not 0, or I mean if they are 0, then we time out. Now I have another if statement, and it says if the coordinates aren't 0, then we are using them by default. So main lati, main longi is our GPS coordinates now. And then if the GSM longi, else if, are not 0, then we use the GSM coordinates by default, assuming that these are equal to 0. And then else, if none of them were attained, then we couldn't get reliable coordinates from GPS or GSM. Then what we have is the coordinates aren't 0 for GPS, and we use those coordinates by default. So this was a case where the GSM didn't work, but the GPS did, and it used the GPS by default. So now I'll try to get try to get coordinates from GSM, but no GPS.